Okay, here's my first attempt at trying to make Beerkashi Bran flakes for Beerkashi composting. I've got the main ingredients all measured out here. This is a bucket of spent beer grain. Got this at a local brewery, Hemlock State today. The guys there were nice enough to give me a big bag full of spent beer grain. Molasses, and these are our microbes. So essentially we've got a concentrated solution of microbes. What we're going to do is we're going to take some of this. We're going to take some blackstrap molasses here, mix it into some water, and then add the microbes. And basically what happens is that the microbes feed on the molasses water solution. And then we're going to work it into our spent beer grains and inoculate the beer grains to a place where they're damp but not overly wet. So it's kind of fun to play with. So we're going to do this with our hands, yeah. So let's see how this goes. I'm currently tripling this recipe, so going to add about 4.5 tablespoons of molasses to the water and mix that up real good. Okay, now that we got the molasses mixed in with the water, and don't worry about the grains that's in the water, I just used this pot to measure the grains beforehand, so I don't think it really matters that there's extra in there. But anyhow, after adding the molasses and mixing it all together, I'm going to stir in another 4.5 tablespoons of this EM-1 microbes. So I'm going to put those in there, and then we're going to mix that together real good next too. So now that we got that mixed together, you can see here I've got about 9 pounds of spent grain already pre-measured. I'm going to add about 2/3 of this molasses microbe solution to my spent grains. I don't want to put too much because I don't want it to be over wet, but I just want to start with a little bit. Let's start with that amount. And so the grains were already kind of wet because they literally came from a brewing session today. But now that the microbes and all mixed in with the spent grains here, we just start working it together with our hands. Again, this kind of feels good, so it's kind of fun to mix things with your hands. You don't want it to be overly wet. You want it to be able to stick together, but you don't want it to be too wet, where like if you squeeze it and it comes out, that probably indicates that I have a little bit too much liquid in there, but you want it to be able to stick together. So maybe I need to add some more spent grains to this. I might have added too much liquid already, but let's get some mixing action going on in here, and then we can reassess after a little bit. So once you've got that to a good consistency where the bran flakes kind of form in your hands, but they're not too wet, like if you squeeze too hard, I had to add some more dry material to this just to make sure that the existing liquid was absorbed. So I added some rice, but it's pretty good now. It's not too crumbly. It's kind of a nice shape, you can see. I'm going to take this and put it into some storage bags here, suck the air out, and let them sit for a couple weeks. So this is our yield from all that work. We got 4 very full gallon bags. These are vacuum bags that will take all the air out. Probably need to suck a little bit more air out of that one. But these now go and sit for about 2 weeks in a warm place in the house while the grains inoculate. And then after that, you'll want to go through a drying process to store them long term. So I'm thinking maybe I can put them in my my dehydrator, or maybe in the oven on low or something like that for a little while. So anyhow, this is the process of making Beerkashi Bran. I hope you enjoyed it.